Okay guys, we're in the shop today and we either have a really brilliant idea going on or a big disaster ready to happen. Okay, so we have power applied. This is just about 1/4 inch thick acrylic sheet. I would have liked to have used polycarbonate, but this is all they had available locally, so I decided to go with this because we wanted to just get going on this project. We've got the compression ring from our building that we're using for basically an oven box here. And as you can see, the temperature gauge, that's an oven thermometer that's slowly climbing, and we got to get this somewhere up in the range of 280 to 320 degrees to get the plastic soft enough that it'll form. And the idea is we have air plumbed into the bottom of this container, and once the plastic gets soft enough, then we'll start applying air to it, and that should gently raise up a dome shape there, and then we'll have a dome for the center part of our building to act like a skylight. Well, it will be a skylight. Imagine this is going to take quite a while to happen, because we're going to have to build up the temperature in that plate, and probably going to have to cover up this plastic a bit here on top to get an even temperature throughout the plastic before we start forming it. So we'll get back when once we've got the temperature evened out through everything. Okay, I've added a piece of bubble wrap insulation to the top of this thing, hopefully to allow the heat that's building up in it to get through both sides of the plastic. The acrylic sheet's starting to kind of make growing noises right now, so hopefully it survives the stress of what we've got it clamped into right now. With the insulation over the top of everything, I added on this temperature sensor, temperature probe that goes into my voltmeter, and it shows it's got 129 degrees in the upper chamber area, and it's somewhere around 250 underneath right now. I've been turning the power on and off. I just have it the hot plate full on, that piece of aluminum in there to spread the heat out as much as possible, and we'll just keep slowly growing the temperature on this thing until the plastic's softened up enough that it should be able to form when we put some air to it. Well, the oven thermometer says a little over 250 degrees, and we're about 290 some degrees on the back side of the plastic here. I don't know how accurate that is with this infrared thermometer. And nothing's softened up yet. Okay, at this point, the inner temperature was getting up to about 275 degrees. And underneath of the insulation cover here, it's just hit 160 degrees. And what's interesting is the surface temperature of the reflective bubble wrap insulation is only 84 degrees, and ambient temperature is not too far away from that. The wood's like only 82 degrees, and that's not really the heat from the assembly or anything, because any place else you shoot this, you get about the same temperature, so it's about half. Okay, here's what's going on so far. I added a kilowatt meter to the rig here so that I could see when the hot plate was actually on, and one of the issues that I suspected was going to happen, the hot plate has a real simple bimetal switch in it that turns it on and off when it senses the heat from the whole hot plate, and apparently right about below the softening point of our plastic here, that's when the hot plate shuts off. So I did apply some air to it, and it did start to dome up, so it's building enough heat, and hopefully this heat cycle right now that's going through will be enough to get everything soft enough that we can finish raising it up. Right now, internal temperature is setting somewhere around 275, and you can see that the plastic's domed up a little bit, but I'm concerned now that I'm going to create a soft spot in the middle of things, so hopefully it'll sag back down a little bit, and we'll take off this cover and blow it up to its final height. Then one issue we're going to have to deal with is how to cool it down. Since it's all an enclosed heater here, there's no place for the heat to go, so I'm just going to have to kind of keep it pushed up while the temperature goes down enough that it stays put. Okay, so I don't know, we're maybe a couple hours into this little project, and got about 185 degrees showing on this thermometer here. That's the temperature above the plexiglass. The oven thermometer is showing right around 300, a little more than 300 degrees, which is just a little bit short of the upper 320 degrees that they show for forming. And they also recommend maybe going just a little bit higher to allow cooling time while you're moving it into a clamping fixture. But since I'm already in a fixture here, that's not a problem. So basically waiting for this thing to heat up just a little bit more. The hot plate just came on again. See on the kilowatt meter, this thing runs about 9 amps. Look at the watts, about 1080. We're looking at 184 degrees underneath of the insulation right now. See what this plastic was starting to wrinkle a little bit, indicating that it was softening up. And you can possibly see the waviness to it there. Now we've fallen below the 300 degree mark since the plate's been cycled off, so hopefully this time when it heats up, that'll push it back up to that 300 level. And it had started moving before at a lower temperature, so I think once it hits this next one, we're going to go ahead and see if we can get this thing to raise up, and hopefully it works out. Okay, it looks like this thing's stopping at around 185 degrees, so I'll go ahead and try to give it some air at this point and see what happens. Don't want to put too much air to the whole thing since I don't want it to blow up. Okay, the first dome didn't work so great. It got a little lopsided, so I changed the insulation on it to a double layer thing that fits down in here, and disabled the shut-off switch on the hot plate so that it can just keep heating until I hit the temperature I want. So now we've got it up to 350 degrees in there, and got a surface temperature on the plastic of 230 degrees. So just letting that kind of heat soak for a little bit so that we can try forming it some more. Okay, see how our little experiment went the other day. Left it clamped up all night because I did find out that this stuff will work until it's absolutely cold. Okay, and there is what the finished ring looks like. A little smoke on it in the underside here from something that was in our container, but we should be able to clean that right off. And I'm pretty happy with that. So now we'll get it to figuring out how to flash it to this ring. And then that'll be a complete project for our skylight. Okay, we masked off our bubble, and we made an aluminum channel for around the outside edge of it yesterday. Made a little clamp to go onto it on one end just to hold it together, so it's like a big gigantic hose clamp, I guess you could say. And then right now we're shoving some backer rod inside of it to kind of pack the plexiglass bubble to one side of the channel, so it makes as thin of an edge on the outside as possible. So that's where we're at right now. We just got to keep working this material inside of the crevice there and get it all sealed up. That's why we did all the masking, because right now the channel is full of silicone sealant. Wanted to get as reliable a seal on this as we can, since it's going to basically be what keeps the elements out of the very top point of the roof. Being a skylight, it's going to let light into the building, and I guess we'll be able to see the stars at night.